Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Margins podcast, where we break down books that we've read, we haven't read, and some books that we've
never started.
You know, honestly, I said that wrong.
Yeah.
Because, like, why would we break down a book that we've never read? But at this point, guys, guess what? Guess what?
I just noticed that.
And you nodded along, but
yeah, I was just I'm a yes man on air.
I'll take it.
He said we haven't read.
You know what?
We're spark noting.
We're spark noting, guys. Welcome to this episode. The episode title is Ice, Honor, and Heartbreak. This is a breakdown of the Sword of Kaigen. Guys, in this episode of The Margins, we pour a glass and dive into the Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. A sweeping standalone filled with elemental magic, political deception, a gut punch of emotion. We unpack the unforgettable characters, those devastating battle scenes, and why this book shattered and healed us in all the right ways. Plus, we share recent reads, fresh recommendations from our TBR. Guys, bring your tissues. Bring some
Beano.
Some. Can we cheers to that?
Let's cheers.
Let's get this one started.
All right, guys. So you guys are in for a good episode. For those who have read Sword of Kaigen, even for those who have not, you can use this episode as a kind of a barometer. See what the themes are like, what you may want to, what you might be interested in the book, right? So with that being said, we usually go through a quick how you're doing. Yeah. So we'll keep it short and sweet. How have you been since last time we filmed? Everything's good?
Glad you asked.
Because we care.
Yeah. But since you said we have to be quick, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm trying. No, I'm good. Spent the day at the zoo with little man
awesome.
And his aunt Olivia. Got to see my favorite rhino, Marshall, LA Zoo.
Yeah.
No elephant. Couldn't find the jaguar. And
the elephants are almost always out though.
I know, but I'm 0 for 2 for the last 2 times we've gone. I did see the snow leopard.
That's cool.
Shout out to my favorite movie. One of my favorite movies, not my all-time favorite movie. Favorite movie is obviously Goofy movie. Hence why my kid's name is Max. But Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I thought
seen it?
No, I thought you were gonna say
of Pets.
Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, that's funny. That's 3 different ways that we almost could have gone there. No. That's funny you said that. Have you seen A Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
I don't know.
Bruh.
Is it good?
It will give you. Yeah.
Is that what Ben Stiller?
Yes.
Man, I wanted to see that when it came out.
Beautifully shot.
I'll watch it.
Soundtrack, amazing.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, please do. I think it's definitely on one of the streaming platforms.
It's one of those movies that I wanted to watch. It just kind of got away from me.
Yeah. I know for a fact it's on one of them because I just recently saw it on there. I was like, I'm going to throw that on during the day just to have on. It's just a feel good. It's beautifully shot. Anyway, saw the snow leopard. You'll get it when you see it. But yeah, that's about it. We don't have too much else going on. This is going to be an easy weekend for us. Happy about that. No big plans. No,
love those.
No
love
birthday parties. No events. Nothing.
Awesome.
How about you? How are you doing?
Adult weekend. So same. Chill. Family's healthy. We're healthy. Honestly, just been working. You can't complain. We're here. That's honestly what I'll chalk it up to. And haven't done anything interesting this week.
You've been working out.
I've been in the gym.
You've been on your grind.
I've been in the gym.
Yeah.
Back in the gym. It's been a little while. I got injured, and I just took a break after that. So now I'm back. But yeah, other than that, birthdays. Took Nuri to Disneyland.
Yeah, you did.
Walked.
I saw you did.
Easily 30,000 steps. Easily.
Your Jordan jersey.
Yes. So, love that. Disneyland's always fun. Her birthday, she wanted to go and stay all day. So we're like, we're not gonna leave till she
Just
passes
Disney?
out. We just did Disneyland. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys did the Costco deal.
No, we just did regular Disney. I don't think we could have made it through both parks. Too much walking, too many people, and it's a Saturday, you know.
Did they start serving drinks at Disneyland?
Yeah.
It's on Disneyland side too.
Couple spots.
I knew that it was for the longest time. It was just California Adventure.
Extremely nasty drink. I didn't enjoy it, but Naya and her mom enjoyed their drinks. I didn't enjoy mine. But yeah. Other than that, it was cool. It was good. Yeah, all good. So just to get started, before we get started, between the wines, on a
Brutus,
your time to shine, sir. So we're today we're drinking Cloudbreak, Sauvignon Blanc, out of California. As usual, you guys know I have to shout out those local wines. And just to give you guys a little rundown of what it says from the last rains of winter to the flowering of spring vines, nothing is as exciting as the cycle of the vineyard and the promise of new vintage. California's near perfect combination of long warm days and cool evenings help us produce gorgeous wines with ripe, concentrated fruit flavors, rich textures, and great length. So yeah, guys, if you guys are around Total Wine, that's where I got this one from. Check out Cloudbreak. It's actually really good.
It is.
It's smooth, pretty light. Actually, like that. It's pretty light. But get you guys a close up of that label. And Brutus,
our boy.
He's
such a good boy.
All right. So, recent reads, bro. I feel like you just finished a book.
I just finished The Sword That Cuts Through Water.
Okay.
That was the book we had for book club.
How was that?
It was interesting.
Did it make your favorites?
It did not make my favorites.
Just missed it.
It was super interesting. It was adventurous and daring, and I applaud Simon Jimenez, the author, on his ability to write from different vantage points and then bring them all together. Was it my thing? No. I did like the action in the story, but for me it took a bit to get there.
Yeah.
But I've heard so many great reviews on that book, so I know that although it's not my favorite, so many people enjoyed it.
Just like people, books, right?
Yeah.
Everyone isn't for everyone, and every book isn't for everybody. So that's fair.
What about you?
Still trudging along through some books. One book that I recently finished was by Joe Abercrombie.
Oh, yeah.
Another book by him. So this is like maybe my fourth or fifth book that I read of his. It tracks along with the rest of the books that I read, like The Blade itself. What was the other one?
And the rest in that series.
Because I can't remember. Oh, Before They Were Hanged.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one in there. But yeah, Devils was great.
I'll be doing the reverse. I'll be currently reading The Devils right now. I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
And then I'll be jumping into that series.
Yeah. I can't wait to discuss The Devils. It's a fun read.
Yeah.
Super fun read.
That will be one that we will be discussing on here. So
yeah,
guys, if you guys can get to that, because I can tell you this right now, you'll be listening to this whenever you're listening to this, and then you'll have another episode. And then there's a good chance that next episode will be The Devils. So you got some time. Throw it down.
Yeah.
Get in line with us.
So, yeah. So got through Devils, and still going through the Fourth Wing series. Obelisk Gate, which is 5th season series. I always have so many books that I'm reading, but those are
any manga.
Quick 3. Kagurabachi. It's gonna have an anime. It's gonna be it's gonna be a top anime. It has the making. You know when you read the manga and you're like, oh, this is dope. you can tell it's gonna have like, it's gonna be a dope anime.
Hell yeah!
But
my cousin just finished the anime of Solo Leveling today. He's gonna be jumping into Kaiju number 8 next.
So here's the thing.
Say something.
I'm not saying nothing. No.
Say something. I love both of them.
So for me, I've read and watched both of them, and I read both of them before I watched them.
I remember.
I almost enjoyed reading it more, especially for Solo Leveling.
This seems to be the case a lot of the times with you.
No, so look, sometimes
name one right now that you like the anime more than the manga. Name it. Name it.
I'm thinking.
Name it.
Okay, so you might be right. You might be right there. Okay, whatever. Naruto.
I was gonna say Naruto. Why not? Yeah.
Actually,
that's
Naruto.
The only one that I was like, he could say Naruto.
Yeah.
Right now.
So Naruto is one that I do genuinely enjoy watching more than than reading. But like One Piece, so much better reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost every anime is better reading. But whatever. Whatever.
Kakashi versus Obito. Watch that fight over and over and over and over and over and over.
Fourth grade Ninja War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. But without getting into that too much more, guys.
No, that'll be another episode.
Let's jump into the reading of The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. So, do you want to go through the synopsis, or should I?
Sure.
Go ahead. You got it.
All right. In a remote, snow-covered village at the edge of the Kaigenese Empire, tradition is law, and duty runs deeper than blood.
Mm-hmm.
The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang follows a mother and a son, Misaki and Mamoru, caught in a tightening grip of the nation built on silence, sacrifice, and carefully controlled truth. On the surface, it's a story of elemental warriors defending their homeland, and underneath, it's something far more intimate, a raw exploration of identity, legacy, and what it means to choose your own truth in a world that demands obedience. As long as buried secrets rise and unexpected wars crashes against the village's frozen shores, Misaki is forced to confront who she is, who she was, and who she's willing to become. The Sword of Kaigen is as much about swords and blood as it is about memory, grief, and the quiet kind of strength that refuses to stay hidden. Ugh. Bruh. Now.
That definitely encapsulates.
It did, because I was getting emotional reading it.
Yeah. That definitely encapsulates everything.
So how this book came to be, as far as between you and I.
Yeah.
I had read Blood Over Brighthaven. For our viewers, it's right here.
Shout out.
Read Blood Over Brighthaven. I said, this author is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I went on through Book Talk, everyone said, yeah, this book is amazing. Obviously, because she wrote Sword of Kaigen. And so I put it on my TBR, and I kept reading everything else. And then finally came to Sword of Kaigen. And this book wrecked me in 10 different ways. Just across the board. And as I was reading it, I was going to Cristiano and just saying, dude, I love this book. I'm going through it. And I kept being, I didn't explain what feelings I was experiencing. Yeah. But I said, they are heightened. It's a lot. Yeah. And I'm excited for you to check it out. And of course, by the title of the book, you're thinking.
Yeah, you're really thinking like
battles,
samurai battles.
Yeah.
And so when you first told me about the book, just from the name itself, and then from your initial description of like, oh, it has a great magic system, right? I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those books. You think it's gonna be nice, action-packed kind of book.
Because at this point, you hadn't read Blood Over Brighthaven yet.
No,
you did that after the fact. Yeah.
Yep. So, I think that synopsis really encapsulated really well. So, what I want to do really quick before we get into like favorite quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
I really want to go through like raw reactions of like character highlights, plot highlights, and stuff like that. Because I just want to get into, I want to break down the book a little bit for our listeners, right? So, not gonna lie, when I first, like my first, I don't know, 2 or 3 chapters, I'm like, okay, cool. It's a shonen, right? It's a book about
for our listeners that aren't familiar with shonen. Yeah, want to break it down to them?
Yeah. So shonen is like it's a what do you call it? A genre of I guess it's, so when you watch anime or read manga, there's a bunch of different genres that they land in. Shonen's like about, usually it has to do with young to teen, young adults. It could go up to young adults. Most of the time it's like teen and lower. Their adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So you initially, while I'm reading through it, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, so this is gonna be about Mamoru. You start off in the academy with Mamoru. This is very, very much a shonen. That's what that's the initial idea that I got. I don't know if you came and mentioned something, or I just got to that part of the book first. You might have kind of hinted at it, that there was just something more about it. But I remember there was a part in the book where I was like, am I tripping? Or did the main character just
switch? I remember the day that you came and or you were hitting that part and you were like, what is going on here?
Yeah. So this is not a spoiler, guys, because, I'm not really telling much about the book that you guys can't get from reading a synopsis of it. But there's multiple main characters.
Yes.
Right? So every character, I won't say every character, but there's 2 characters who are just as important as the other. And that's going to be Mamoru and then his mom, Misaki. So my initial reactions to the book were all based on Mamoru, and even still, to be honest, for me, because as you said earlier, everyone's different with books. Even like my final reactions were kind of based on Mamoru, to be completely honest. And I'm not sure if we'll get into that in this video, because we don't want to do any spoilers in this initial video. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the book. For those who haven't read it, those who have read it, feel free to comment and we'll interact and engage. But yeah, so my initial and my conclusive reactions were like, fuck, like that's crazy. Great character. I really enjoyed, because he felt like, so Mamoru was 14?
14, yeah.
He felt like a 14-year-old, right? Sometimes you'll have a character, they seem like they're a little bit older or younger, but Mamoru felt like a 14-year-old. And kind of like what the synopsis was saying, it's kind of, the world is Eastern Asian based, right? So a lot of those themes of honor and respect, family and stuff like that. And he's taking the mantle. He's trying to grow into the mantle of his family name, So I really enjoyed that part of the book. I'm not gonna lie. Even actually conclusively, like even towards the end, that's one of my favorite part of the books, because I think that's really difficult to peg, is to get people interested in a story enough to where it feels real. Like this didn't feel so fantastical, even though it had not so much, but it had a undertone of magic, right? It didn't feel so fantastical because all the human stories that Wang interwove with the characters. It's so much more about the characters than the fighting, so much more about the characters than the magic. Like
even while experiencing like while they're practicing, like his interactions with his sensei or the his trainer, or however you want to say it, just while he's teaching him, he takes that risk of going a little bit faster than everyone else
and further
and everything. But that the sensei goes to him and says, "Oh, like I see you. I understand that you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
The issue is this." I think it'd be so easy if it was just about like war or whatever. It'd be him like falling on his ass or succeeding, but it was once again about his sensei seeing him for who he was,
and
then also helping him in that. to propel himself and just be like, hey, this is why I'm doing it. It's not because I said so, but because if you did do it the way you just did it, one, you're being like, you're showing a bad habit for the rest of them, but two, you can hurt yourself. There's a better way to do it. I'm completely here to explain it to you. But yeah, I just feel like if it was a classic shonen, it'd be like go sit on the bench, or like I'll get to you, and this like a whole arc. But anyway,
no, I agree. But that goes back to earlier what I said about how unique the characters feel, and each one of the characters, even the supporting characters, have a lot to give to the story, right? So, so that's one. Are there any character relationships or anything that stood out to you? I know one big one that you don't really get to until later, but it's like a central theme, are the relationships between all the families, like whether it's immediate or extended or whatever, right? So Misaki and her kids, which are Mamoru and Hiroshi, and so her other kids, Takeru, who is Mamoru's father and Misaki's husband, Takeru's dad, Takeru's older brother Takashi, right? So all their relationships, all their dynamics are so different, but they're kind of tangible. Like, you know what I mean? They're
relatable.
They're visceral. They're relatable, and I think that Emma Wang did such a great job bringing them to life. I think that's what I enjoyed the most about this book in general, was that the blanket statement of how I put it is that it feels very human. Like all the characters, all the relationships feel very real.
Yeah. I'd love to be inside of her head while she was figuring this out. So I believe I told you off camera, but I found out that she had been creating this world since she was 12. She does have one or two other books within this world. It doesn't have to do with this book.
Totally different.
But completely different. But within the world, she has since said that she's not going to continue in this world. She's putting it down for now, and we're working on other pieces.
Yeah.
But to be thinking of this, so she was 12 when she began creating this. There have been hints of this being similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I love. But
kind of no, though.
I think just the bending aspects of it.
Okay, yes.
Specifically that is what I'm saying. The magic, I should say the magic system is similar.
Yeah, the magic system definitely similar. Yeah.
But because of that, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if 12-year-old her, what part of this, was it the magic system that she started creating? Was it the world that she was seeing, or was it these relationships? Because the relationships is the meat. That is the meat and potatoes of this whole book.
I feel like the world and the magic system feel more
secondary.
12-year-old and secondary. I think that mind you, I can be totally wrong about this, and if I am, what a mind! Like, imagine her coming up with these characters at 12. What a mind!
Well, what a mind, or what an experience is what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm wondering what did she go through?
Yeah, right. Or what did she see other people go through?
What did she experience? In the best way is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just off the cuff, I was the same way when I started this book. Was I let down a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, so it's just going to be like a normal, same thing. I thought it was going to be like a shonen. Yeah. I was like, okay, I can probably assume what's going to happen. Yeah. I had no idea.
No, so this is not one of those books.
No.
It's not one of those books where you can guess the next thing.
Nope.
And, going back to what I said earlier about the human aspect that it kind of interweaves, you never really know what's going to happen in your life. Things hit you from left, right, up, down. You know what I mean? And that's this book. Everything comes from left field, and how the story develops isn't something that you can guess. You kind of just have to go for the ride. There's going to be things that you like, things that you don't like, and that's okay. You just kind of have to just keep trekking through the book, which is something I had to learn, because there was parts where I was like, I hit you up. I was like, bro, why'd you have me read this fucking book, man?
Because misery loves company. Yeah. Let's get that trauma bond. But
this book deals with a lot of real life themes.
Yeah.
So for everyone has a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a broken family or a large family, small family. It deals with friendships as well, dynamics and friendships as well, power dynamics, social dynamics, tradition, right? A lot of different really important themes that I think that we should all be introspective of because we're going to deal with them in some capacity. So yeah, if you guys enjoy things that, or you enjoy literature, or books, or movies, or whatever, that kind of bring things home and makes you think. This is definitely one of those books. It's not like mathematically think, but like socially, you know, it's one of those books.
And it doesn't shy away from, fight scenes.
No, you still have the action, you still have the fights, and you still have the magic. There's like she never leaves that, that vein, but I don't know if it's because the reader gets more interested in the story, or that's just kind of what happens as it builds. But you naturally gravitate more towards caring more about what's happening between the characters versus like, oh, I'm excited for this next battle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember, and I'm like this. Like when I'm watching an anime or reading a manga, I am excited to get to the next battle or the next thing or the next use of magic, and that did not happen here. I was definitely more invested in like what's going on with the characters. But yeah. So that's kind of that.
Okay.
So the next thing is 5 hard questions.
5 hard questions.
So let's try to get through this, without spoiling anything. I just said to myself because I'm that guy.
No, you're good. I think if I wanted to do just so that I think we've let you guys know without letting you know what's going on. As we said before, Misaki is a mother. The son is Mamoru, and Takeru is the father. The family dynamic is very traditional.
Yeah,
they're trying to keep with tradition.
Their family, the Matsudas, are the prominent samurai family in the village. And basically they're, I don't know if you should say their right or their responsibility is to guard the border of their nation, right? And so this is passed down through generation
with a very specific art.
Yes.
Or a very specific skill, which is the Whispering Blade.
Whispering Blade, right.
So it's only in their bloodline that someone's able to perform this. Not everyone can do it. Takeru's father was never able to do it. Takeru is the only brother that's able to perform it.
Yeah.
And then Mamoru, from birth forward, whenever he was able to have consciousness, was aiming to be able to do it. So that is his goal. Protect this city or his town. Keep their honor. And so just imagine having a 14-year-old kid have all the pressure of knowing that his family is, cream of the crop, and he needs to uphold that
and carry that tradition on of protecting and carrying on his family lineage, basically. Yeah.
Little does he know.
And it's not just him though. Like his mom as well. His mom's family also come from a prominent family, separate. Like what do you call it? Kekai, right? Genkai, right? So separate bloodline technique, but also just as important, right? Maybe not as strong in terms of, combat and stuff, but just as important. And I think that was one of the main points in the book, was that each village or family line, whether high up or lower, they all do something.
Yeah.
Like they're all important to making this.
Whether it be the swordsmiths or or Mamoru's family or whatever. But with all of the tradition and everything, like we said, there's past secrets. We find out more about Misaki,
a lot,
and what she used to do when she was younger before she was married. The type of warrior, I'll say that warrior she was,
as a mom, in a lot of different ways. I think that she was probably the most dynamic character for me. Everyone would probably come up with a different character that they think is whatever. She was probably the most dynamic character for me. I don't know. So on its head, yes, but after you read, Takeru was a great character. Mamoru was a great character. His best friend, Kwang.
He's saying Shuli.
Chuli.
Yeah.
His last name is
Chuli, right? Or is it?
No, his last name is Kwang, right? Kwang Chuli.
Possibly. I don't know.
His name is Kwang Chuli.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Loved his character. He was a little bit annoying at first, but I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. So all that's going on. Chuli comes into the mix and has information outside of what is Mamoru's bubble.
Right.
And Mamoru's world starts kind of slipping apart, and he begins investigating what his internal truths are, what he's known as the world, and he starts asking his mom, not his dad, because his dad is, pun intended, ice cold.
Okay.
Is not the one you go to, and then he discovers more and more, and that's how the story unravels. So
yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that you guys had at least a tidbit of what's going on. Throughout that journey, you find out a lot more about the struggles Misaki went through, both within the family, outside of the family, her past and her future, and what it takes to keep a relationship, whether it be with a parent, a loved one, your spouse, all the important things, all within this book that looks like it's going to be an epic samurai story, which it is. But emotionally, it is just as jarring and fulfilling. So let's get to those questions.
Yeah. So 5-part questions, guys. I'm gonna go ahead. So just going over this. Every episode will have 5-part questions. These questions will be shaped to the book that we're going over for that episode. So this week, obviously, it's the Sword of Kaigen. So all of these questions will have to do with themes, plots, characters, something that happens in the book, and basically bring it down to something that's more human level, something that's reader level. Whether you've read it or not, these are questions that you guys can engage with. So with that being said, I'll ask the first question. Can generational trauma ever be truly broken? Or do we just learn to carry it better?
I believe it's the latter. I think when it comes to psychology, I think in recent years, we've stopped saying that that we're unlearning something or we're breaking something, and it's more so we're rewiring our brains to maneuver around it or relearn how to confront, whether it's trauma, a vice, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think the best way is not to compile or to compartmentalize or tuck it away, because only bad things grow in the dark. I think that in order to proceed with that type of generational trauma, you need to address it, and figure out how to avoid it, why it happened, and how to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
is
definitely.
my go-to.
Definitely. Like, first understanding or trying to understand what it was. Yeah, I think that's one of the most important steps, because without that, you run the risk of doing it again.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't really get to why you got to that point in the first place. So yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know. I think that first and foremost, I do agree that you, in most cases, probably 99.9%, you do just learn how to carry it better. Trying to think, is there ever a generational curse that was broken? And to be honest, I can't say that I know of one. Like, I don't want to get deep or anything, but let's take slavery, for example. It was a long time ago, right? But don't get me wrong, like, we still deal with, like, things in between. You have, like, the sharecropping era, the Jim Crow era. Segregation, right? Etc. But still today, there's a term in, like, the Black community where say you have a slave mindset, right? And a lot of the trauma that a lot of people have, they attribute to slavery. I'm not going to say what the conversation was, but you were at the Memorial Day barbecue.
I've been thinking about this conversation. I'm meaning to text you about it ever since.
And one of the main things that one of the people who were there brought up, and in defense of someone else, wasn't in defense of him, but defense of someone else's actions, was like, it's not his fault. Like, Black went through slavery, all this other stuff, right? And so just using that as, like, you know, a really good specific example of how, like, the generational curses, not only are they real, but they have a half-life that's insane. It's insane. And if you're not careful, or if you're not thoughtful, and even if you're careful, even if you're thoughtful, you do run a risk of reliving them in some way. So I agree. You learn how to carry them better, and it probably gets easier. The weight probably gets lighter after every generation.
I don't think you can. I don't think it's an equal conversion, but with anxiety, there's I'm probably going to butcher this, but there's a type of therapy called psychodrama, where you reenact events in your life. You literally do it in front of the therapist, and you say, oh, so say you were a friend that had wronged me, and the therapist would say, okay, well, someone act as said friend in this chair. Will you now reenact what you wanted to say, or how would you feel? I've also seen where they put their anxiety or their depression or fill in the blank in a chair, and you have a conversation and you build a relationship with that said emotion. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, because then you have
from, like, a lot of different points,
giving it a reason or hearing out, why is my body reacting this way? Oh, it's a safety mechanism. It's worrying for me. Only friends worry about you, or, you know.
It kind of how do I put it? It, I'm not gonna say humanizes it, but it makes it real. Like something that you can touch and interact with and feel, which probably feels like psychologically
less ominous
and more controllable.
Exactly. Which is the whole name of the game. I mean, it's the whole thing where control is like it's funny because it makes you feel more like you're more in control. Therapists will always tell you, like, you're never in control. It's not the thing, but that's what it is. But anyway, that's what I was thinking.
Awesome. Love that answer. Great answer.
Thank you.
Great answer.
I'm going to re-up my parking right now as we talk.
Please do. So while you re-up your parking, I will read and I'll go first on the second answer. Okay. So what happens when a parent and child no longer share the same ideology or definition of honor and respect? So for me specifically, I probably wouldn't be the best person to answer this question, being that I didn't carry on, like, any kind of parental ideologies, you know. I'm creating them new myself.
Yes, you are.
So I'm probably the best person to answer that, but obviously I grew up around people who had families, and I had people who were like father or mother figures, etc. the common sense thing that pops in my mind is that there's going to be a break, and I mean this in many ways. Individualistic break in the person, that's and then like a ideological break between what they were raised in and what they believe, which would then affect the person who raised that person, right? Because they're obviously going to feel a way because they raised you in a way. My personal example of this was like I was raised Christian or Baptist or whatever you want to call it, but when I turned like, I don't know, probably like 16, 17, I don't really remember my age now, but I was like 16 or 17, and I was like, okay, I'm not anything. I believe in God, but I just don't want to claim a religion. Like, I got to the point where I had all these questions. I had lived a lot of shit happening in between, that time, around that time. And I was like, yeah, this isn't doing it for me. It's not answering my questions. Just believing, just having faith wasn't kicking it for me. I needed more out of the religion that I was devoting my life to. And I remember, and some of my closer friends, they probably would tell you this if they remember as well. But I was just telling people like, yeah, I'm not really religious right now, but I believe in God. I would just always follow up with that, tell people like, and I'll tell them why as well. And I sparked some really great conversations, with older people and younger people, like my peers. But yeah, basically, I remember feeling really lost. And that's when I realized how important religion was to people. Because I was like, damn, I feel lost because that's something that I voluntarily gave up, right? Mm-hmm. And long story short, I eventually, one of my friends, they were a part of the mosque, and they invited me and another one of my friends to go. We went, we learned. I ended up liking it. I liked it for a bunch of different reasons, but being short, one of the main reasons why I liked it is that it made me feel really comfortable. And I, looking back, what made me feel comfortable was the structure, the amount of knowledge that it had in terms of there was answers to my questions, whether I thought those answers were correct, incorrect, wild, or really it doesn't matter. No matter how I gauged the answers, I liked there was an attempt to answer the question because it let me know there's people who were thinking. At least they were thinking versus just taking something because it's there.
Face value, yeah.
And I also like that they read out of a lot of different books. So I'm not just up in here reading, the Quran. I'm also reading King James Version Bible and all these other things as well. Like Torah, all these things are very much important, right? So yeah, that's quick tidbit on that. But for you, what happens when a parent and a child no longer share the same ideology or definition of honor and respect?
I think it has to do with, if we're taking one of them, I know it says ideology or definition of honor or respect. Ideology alone, I think a parent and a child can still grow, progress, be very much in each other's lives, depending on how the relationship is then formed.
Not to cut you off, I feel like that's more like a current thing.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, if you thought differently than your parent,
game over.
Fucking game over.
Yeah. To the point of banishment. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to not experience that. Because definitely if it was back in those times for what I've lived through and the lifestyles that my wife and I have decided to go or forego with our family's traditions and everything, we definitely wouldn't be on that side of the line. We would be on the banishment side, but because we have, no, that'll have to cry. Because of the great relationship we have with our parents, or with my parents, and their support and everything, I think that will always be the determining factor. What is more important to you, those ideologies or your relationship with your kid or your parent, And I'm not saying that one is, well, if I am saying it, then I think your relationship should be more important, depending on what we're talking about. If it's because of oh, well, they're not part of my religion anymore, I don't want to talk to them, then you need to get your shit straight. That's not it. But then on the other side of it, if it's oh, I'm gonna let go of this part of me, I'm I'm going to cut it because my family, my person, my friend doesn't want to see me with that, whether it's because for them it's inherently wrong.
Yeah.
Then it's your shit that you need to figure out, because then you're the one discarding something that you love. As long as it's not a vice, as long as it's not a bad thing,
something wild.
Yeah, something wild. But yeah, to answer that question, I think for me, it just depends on the priority of the relationship between the parent and child, where it goes from there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Next one. How do you rebuild an identity after everything you believed in, nation, family, purpose, has been shattered? So to touch on what I just spoke about, my wife and I both were raised in the Mormon Church, Latter-day Saints, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, as they say in South Park.
Yeah.
All the way through, Book Mormon, all the way through our 20s. I went on a 2-year mission to El Salvador, and por eso hablo español. Had my time there, and very much so was, hit all the, I wouldn't say accolades, because those that are within the church will hear that, will think, oh, well, you're trying to, hit these goals. But in the church, like anywhere else, like in any type of establishment, there are standards, there's goals, there's a plan for your life. So for me, leaving that, having something where, okay, when you're 19, you're going on a 2-year mission. When you come back, you're going to find someone, you're going to date, you're going to get married within the church standards, which is finding a Mormon temple, making these promises to each other, and then you're going to start making a family.
Yeah.
Well, I did the 2-year mission, got back, started investigating for myself, decided that it wasn't what I wanted it, not what I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And again, that's for me.
And that happens. Like you're on that path, right? You're the one that's living that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Questioning things that I thought were ironclad in my mind, that I just hadn't questioned before, and I figured out it wasn't for me. Rachel had already come to that conclusion for herself. We didn't do it together. We did it separately. We actually made an agreement that we wouldn't talk to each other about those things until we'd come to that. She actually, like I said, she did it for me, and then I found it on my own. But my family, a lot of them are still very much in it. And with that happening, that shattering of my faith, my foundation, my quick response was to then fill that void with something else. I've seen very many other people either go to like another church, whether it be like another religion, because some people that leave churches, their whole faith structure isn't in question, so they jump somewhere else to fill that void. For me, I found that it was best to go back to my roots and figure out what makes not what makes me happy in a not in the sense of like, oh, what's fun for me.
Yeah.
Even as I talk, I think about, and this is a me thing, but I think about the people that are, I imagine these people that are just like, say that you wanted to go drink, say that you wanted to go party, say that you wanted to go do all these things. Do those people exist? I do think that they're out there.
Of course.
But I've also been met with grace and had reactions that stunned me of support still within those that go to the church and everything, and even more so those that are out. And like I said before, I have a great relationship with my parents, and because of that, I think I've been able to put the pieces, or I shouldn't say put the pieces back together, but form something that I believe is a beautiful life with my wife and my son. And I find that with the time that I now have with them, I cherish it, all the more.
Yeah.
So that's my That's my very short answer that took less than 10 seconds.
Definitely less than 10.
Yeah.
But no, awesome answer. Awesome answer. Man.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, let's move on to question 4. Is strength more about what you endure or what you walk away from?
Anything.
For me, I think it's a balance of both.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have one without the other. Married with children.
Yeah.
I think that it's very important to be wise enough to know when to walk away, and I won't say strong enough, but have enough fortitude to endure. And you only build fortitude by going through things. So I think as you grow and mature, it is important to experience a bit of both.
I was literally about to say, what would 16-year-old Cristiano say? Because I think 16-year-old Stranton, with being raised, not the way I was raised.
Stick to it.
I would say, obviously, it's what you can endure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
a younger mind, I'm glad you brought that up. I think, so 16-year-old, I'm thinking, don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
That was actually once.
Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch. Yeah. Great. Man, that was good. Yeah, no. But as you mature, you realize that it's also a sign of strength to walk away from things. Bad friendships, relationships, jobs, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Just plug something in there that you have to know when to get away. Yeah.
No notes. No notes.
No notes. No footnotes on that. Question 5.
Yeah, let's do it.
What does it do to a person to hide their strength or comfort of others?
I think that it is detrimental to both you and the person. I think that with a savior ego, it'd be really easy to say that I'm, helping them out by doing this. Look how great I am for doing so, and maybe
how thoughtful I am there.
Yeah, and maybe even in your heart of hearts, it's not even your heart of hearts. Maybe your initial reaction was, "I'm doing this for their betterment."
Right.
When in the long run, it's not going to help them.
Right.
I'm just thinking of examples in my life where I recently had a case where I chose the white lie over just telling my close friends, a couple that we're very close to, the truth about why we weren't going to be able to make something. Later, we told them why, or the truth, I should say, the actual truth. And they were more hurt at the fact that we didn't tell them right up front.
Right, because they felt like you thought they couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you assume that I'm weak.
Right.
Or you didn't have enough stock in our friendship to be able to think that I could take that.
Right, which is not the intention.
Which wasn't my intention at all. But as they say, the road to hell is paved with great intentions.
Right.
True. So, great lesson learned there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, something that comes with experience. But I don't think in any case you doing that will be for your betterment. What about you?
I think that it's a coin. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin are the people who may have had an experience where they felt that they had to make themselves smaller or less than to get through a situation, or to get the outcome that they're looking for, or something close to what they're looking for. Whether it's a job that you're looking for that you may be overqualified for, or this position is not willing to, or this company is not willing to pay you that, or I don't know, a relationship, right? Some people get into relationships where you're just really attracted to this person. This is probably something you do when you're younger. I'm pretty sure people do it when you're older, but like you're attracted to someone like surface level. You guys have nothing in common, right? But you still chase it.
Anime? No, I don't like that. There's no way I'd ever like that.
Right. And sometimes they'll try some shit you like, and you're just like, oh yeah, fuck that. And you become that to gain access to what you want.
Yeah.
So in those situations and more, I'm pretty sure that like our listeners can shed light on a lot of different other areas that you may encounter this. It's all the same coin, it's all the same emotion that we're dealing with. We're just dealing with it in a fractal, like a different thing. It's a different space that we're dealing with it in, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
Same piece. Yeah.
I love those.
Good 5 questions. And once again, guys, the 5 questions are just a way for us to go over and break down, relate to the themes that are going on in the books that we're going over in each episode.
Yeah, we cannot recommend this book enough. Yeah, it's a great book. If you're into fantasy, it's a great book. If you're into cool magic systems, it's a great book. If you're into just relationships and people and humans and stuff, it's a great book. Yeah.
Some people read literature and that's all they want to read are romantic books or books about family or books about friends. Everyone has a thing. And this book has a good combination of all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really well-rounded book. But I will say, I think the strongest part of it, honestly, I said this earlier, are the characters. They do. Emma Wang does a great job developing the characters and the plot points.
And as always, look for trigger warnings for you guys, for yourselves. If there's anything that that you're not prepared for or would like to avoid, check that out for yourself and make your decision. But we highly recommend this book.
Absolutely.
Emma Wang, thank you. What else do we have?
Last thing, just before we close it out, just wanted to shout out Roman's bookstore.
Yes.
So we both visited Roman's recently in Pasadena separately, and awesome bookstore. It's really swanky. Great. They had like a beer, wine bar, or whatever it is. So you can go get a drink, go get a book, or newspaper, a magazine, gifts.
For all ages.
Yeah, all ages. Lots of fun things to do there. They have lots of events, recurring events, and one-offs. If you check out our website, themarginspodcast.com, go to our community page, and you will see all of their, not all, but most of their events for June. We will be attending one of their upcoming events.
S.A. Cosby. Razorblade Tears, but he is promoting King of Ashes.
Yes. Which we have to buy.
So excited. Yeah. Getting the audiobook, I should say, not the Audible, the audiobook on June 10th.
Yeah.
The physical copies are already out. We plan on getting our own, getting them signed, and getting one extra for someone out there.
So check out this episode.
Yeah. We'll let you guys know how we'll go about
distributing
it,
getting it to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, please engage, please comment, especially if you want that copy. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on other events that are happening and other bookstores that we want to shout out to you guys that you guys should visit. But definitely, if you're into cool bookstores, it's one of the oldest bookstores. I want to say it's the first independent bookstore.
Yeah.
It came out in the 1800s. That's when they opened it. So it's historical. It's a part of Los Angeles history, Pasadena history. Definitely go check it out if you've never been there. And even if you don't buy anything, just go, get a drink.
Yeah, great area surrounding it.
The area is awesome.
Yeah, you guys can. There's a bunch of restaurants and cool shops around it too. So make a night of it. Make a Saturday, a weekend. Yep. That's what we did. We hit it up on a Sunday and hit up a couple stores around it. Great time. Yeah. But yeah, Romans, Pasadena, great spot.
Also,
damn,
sorry,
you're just breaking it.
Awesome. Also, if you get something, they will donate to a charity of your choice.
Very true.
So I bought a book and they donated to the LA Zoo, which I love their LA Zoo. You just went to LA Zoo.
I was there today.
So yeah. We will catch you guys next week.
We got a good one.
We got a
great one.
It's gonna be fun read.
It starts with a D. Depending on which one we go with, but they both start with.
Both start with a D. So you will definitely be seeing a book with the D.
You will definitely be getting
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a good